Zarif, and welcome everybody. This is a wonderful time to talk about nutrition. I love nutrition so much that I've become the director of bariatric nutrition and dietetics for weight loss centers, a wonderful medical group to be involved with. Today is exciting, and you can be just as excited as I am. You see, nutrition is one of the most important, vital components of weight loss management. There are three things that we're going to discuss briefly, and that is your nutritional intake, next followed by your physical activity, and lastly, the power and the importance of rest. First, let's start off with talking about those things that are important in your first stage. Those things are physical activity along with a liquid diet. Now, you notice that I put them both together. You see, they work better together because one does not reach its total optimum without the other, okay? Movement is very important. So the first phase should include all liquids. All liquids include broth and water. It includes popsicles, jello. It includes your fruit drinks, vegetable drinks. All of this is a part of your liquid phase. The next phase should be your pureed / soft food phase. Again, physical activity is very necessary during this stage. The soft foods include foods that do not require chewing or very little chewing. So you can eat foods like tuna, you can take grilled salmon and grilled chicken, and you can have turkey. I wouldn't stretch it as far as meat unless you puree it. However, the other foods very softly add a little non-dairy or low-fat mayo or low-fat dressing. You have a meal. You can also have things like mashed potatoes. You can have hummus, tabbouleh, very soft foods, foods that do not require a lot of chewing, and they are not abrasive or hard or solid when you swallow them. Very important to know also that you should chew thoroughly. Simply means that when you take food in, big word for that is mastication. You take it and you chew it very, very well, and you let all of your juices mix with that food before swallowing. Very important not to be distracted at this time, nor to talk or eat fast, because you'll trap air, and that may cause you some difficulty in this stage. The third stage is the important stage of solid foods. Again, remember, include physical activity, about 20 to 30 minutes. Any kind of activity. You can bounce up and down, you can walk, you can play with the children, you can do anything that requires burning energy. So whatever your routine is, you don't have to be some super exercise guru. Just take your time, do some things. If you lift your legs 10 on one side and 10 on the other side, you're on your way to burning some of those excess calories. Now back to the solid foods. Solid foods is the very most important component when it comes to making sure that this tool called the lap band works. So when you are eating foods such as your meats and your starches and your vegetables and your fruits, you want to make sure that they're solid. You want to make sure that they're whole. You want to make sure that they're in the most natural state that they can. For instance, very or highly processed foods move through faster. Let's look at this. You're going to eat from or change from eating and filling up approximately a 32-ounce capacity down to a 3 to 4 ounce capacity. This is a big difference. When you eat solid foods, those solid foods or the complex foods, they actually hold up in the pouch longer. When you eat processed foods, they break down faster. They move down to the body of the stomach, and guess what? The stomach will absorb all of that fat or sugar or what have you from the stomach, because now it's moving through faster. The other thing is that this will remain empty, causing you to be hungry all over again. That means that the lap band will be working in vain. You want this to work with the highest efficacy, meaning that you want to eat those solid foods that will hold up in the band. Instead of lunch meat and burger meat and hot dogs, you want to eat things like steaks, roast, and chops. Instead of fish sticks, fish fillet. Instead of chicken McNuggets, you want to eat real chicken. Okay, these are very, very important components. Make sure that you take your time in selecting better foods, because now you're going to need the nutrient-dense foods because you have a smaller capacity. You want to make sure that the foods that you are ingesting are packed with nutrients. Okay, now let's move along to what happens after this solid or regular food diet. Following that, then you'll come in for an adjustment. That'll be 1 day of all liquids. Following that adjustment day of all liquids, you're right back to the solid foods. Now, this is a perfect time that you start taking in your multiple vitamins and minerals. 2 to 3 times a week is fine. Calcium citrate. Calcium citrate is a higher absorbable form, 800 to 1200 milligrams per day. For women that are premenopausal, very important that you take iron in the atomic form of ferrous fumarate, and that should be 25 to 35 milligrams per day. Okay, now if you're not eating enough fish and meat and so forth, what you should do is to use a supplement, a liquid protein. Now, there are a lot of proteins out there, but I suggest that you go to the market, make your own choice, and you will find that 60 to 80 grams of protein per day will be sufficient in making sure that you get the necessary protein. Lastly, it is very, very important that you get physical activity along with these things that we're talking about. Physical activity is super important. You cannot substitute physical activity. If you're not an active person, make sure you pick up a pedometer. The pedometer can be purchased at a fitness store, one of your local fitness stores. Fitness department stores. Ask for a pedometer. That's just a little apparatus or instrument that counts your steps. It also counts your motion. Okay, we hope that this has been a very important tool to you in finding out more about the lap band. Eat for yourself to treat yourself to a better, healthy you. I'm Dr. Fareed Zarif.